trading cryptocurrency is something that everybody wants to learn or know how to do or what it is, right? And they just so happen to be having a Fulcrom mayhem on the Fulcrom DApp on the Chronos ecosystem, and that's what we'll be going over today. So when it comes to trading cryptocurrency, you have to learn about leverage, right? So when it comes to the leverage, right, the percentage to get liquidated, right? Liquidation is when you would be wiped out, of your leverage, right? Or you're wiped out of your margin that would lead to liquidation, which means your contract would disappear, right? So we'll go over if it declines, we'll go over if it goes up after we're done going over total trading volume, the Fulcrom DApp, the Fulcrom mayhem, what that all is and what that all entails, right? When it comes to trading cryptocurrency. So the percentage decline needed for liquidation, right? And we're gonna go over examples of what that means, right? So if you were using 5% leverage, right, a 20% drop would wipe out your margin and lead to liquidation if you were using 5x leverage. If you were using 10x leverage, a 10% drop would lead to liquidation, which means you would be wiped out of your contract, right? And a 20% leverage would lead, what is a 5% drop, which would lead to liquidation. 100x leverage, a 1% drop would create your liquidation and you'd be wiped out of your contract. Now, I didn't mean to start off with negative, but that's the most important part, because if things are disappearing or if you're losing your contract and it gets wiped out from your margin and stuff like that, you have to know why, right? So that's always the risk, right? But the riskier, the more percentage of chance you can make a lot more crypto or a lot more money, right? So Fulcrom mayhem, right, which is a DApp on the Chronos ecosystem, which is on the Fulcrom DApp, and it is a promotion that they have going on. There's 11 days left in the promotion, right? So let's come over here. Now, when it comes to the total trading volume on the Fulcrom mayhem, there's $7.44 billion. That's the trading volume for Fulcrom, right, which is an extreme amount, right? So there's a lot of traders on there, right? So that's one reason why I'm explaining the Fulcrom mayhem, so you can join the tournament for a chance to win a share of $20,000 worth of full FUL, and you trade to get points, and you can see the leaderboard, stuff like that, but we'll get there when we get there. The open interest volume on Fulcrom, 3.34 million, that's the open interest. That's how much contracts are active at this very moment. 7.4 billion for the trading volume is how much has been traded back and forth. I don't know when they're going for the month or the week or the day. I'm not entirely sure when it comes to that. The coins that are tradable on Fulcrom are AAVE, Trump, Uniswap, XRP, Sol, SUI, Shiba, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Atom, Crow, Doge, ETH, HBAR, and Litecoin, right? Now, I would go with the ones that you've been watching when it comes to trading cryptocurrency, unless you want to look at the graphs, and I'll explain my advice when it comes to how much leverage you believe you should use based on the percentages, right? Because it's all about numbers in my opinion, right? So I would go based on the ones you're watching, or if you want to learn how to watch the graph, and I'll get to that when we get there. So these are all the tokens that are tradable. This is the volume that has been traded on Fulcrom, 7.4 billion, open interest volume, 3.3 million, right? And the percentage needed for decline, we went over that, right? So don't forget, you can be wiped out of your contract if it drops that low. If you're using 5x leverage, 20%, right? Now, the Fulcrom mayhem is a tournament, basically, right? It's a promotional tournament that they have going on where you can win up to $20,000 in full, right? But at the same time, you're also trading crypto on there. So on there, you can, on the trade square, you can copy traders' contracts, right? So if you want to get in there and practice with let's say the least you can use on the smart contracts is $10, right? So if you want to practice by copying people's contracts, you can do that. If you want to explore traders' activity, right, you can go through their profile and you can see the contracts that they have open. You can see the contracts that they won. You can see how much they're up. You can see their biggest win. You can see their favorite tokens. You can see their P&L. You can see their wallet. Or their wallet that they're trading on the Fulcrom Finance DApp, right? So that's a big factor when it comes to if you want to learn, right? Because you can copy the traders, you can practice with just 10. You don't have to use these big leverages. You don't have to leverage at all. You can use 2x leverage if you wanted to. You can follow the top traders, so if you want to get in there and practice by just watching, you can do that as well. And you can see the top traders with their P&L. We went over that. You can see all of the smart contracts that are on there. You can see the top 50 traders that are winning the promotion as well. So you could go through and see, maybe you want to do what they're doing to start off with. You can see all of the trades that have gotten liquidated, all the smart contracts that have been liquidated. You can see if they added or subtracted from their contracts, right? And how that would go is, let's say you use 10x leverage on $100, right? That part's not important for what we're discussing. So let's say it's dropping and you're coming close to your liquidation price. You can add more of that coin to lower your liquidation and higher the amount that it's supposed to get to, right? So let's make that make sense by an example on the board, because it's kind of hard to explain without being on the board, right? So we went over liquidation, what it is, what it entails. Fulcrom Mayhem, there's 11 days left. It's a DApp on the Fulcrom. Fulcrom Finance is on the Kronos ecosystem on the DeFi wallet. You can win a share of 20,000, went all over that. Coins tradable, Trump, UNI, XRP, SOL, went over that. The trading volume, right? And how you get to the Fulcrom DApp is just in the DeFi wallet under the DeFi dApps, right? So we're gonna go over an example. We'll go over a couple examples. And yeah, make sure to join the Wealth is Health Patreon.